Medicine is seriously over-glamorized, both by Instagram medics and TikTok docs. We imagine this Dr. Mike-esque character filled with energy and bundles of joy. But let's get real. That's not really what hospital medicine is like. In this video, I'm going to talk to you really about the worst things about being a doctor. This isn't to put anyone off the profession. I mean, the pay is good and it's a rewarding job, but it's to give you a balanced picture and some insight into some of the negatives about being a doctor. Hey guys, my name is Kieran. I'm a junior doctor and a comedian working in Manchester. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to the team, and make sure you smash that subscribe button so you can get updates when new videos are coming out. Number one, the On Call Rota. We all know that medicine is a commitment. We talk about that in our personal statements. We talk about that when we're applying for all sorts of things, but only when you start working you appreciate how much of a commitment it is. When you're training, you are on an on-call rota. That means you do weekends, that means you do night shifts, that means you do evening shifts. A normal rotation is either 4 months or 6 months long. And before the rotation, usually around 5-6 weeks before, you'll get given your rota for that rotation. So you can't plan your life in a year's time because actually you don't know what you're doing yet because you haven't got your rota. When you're doing these on-call shifts, say night shifts or weekend shifts, you can't take any holiday. So you can't take annual leave during those shifts. If you really wanted to do something and you're on call, you'd have to try and swap with someone. Trying to swap shifts with someone is nearly impossible because there's not that many people on your rota and they're doing different shifts to you. So if you're trying to swap the night shifts, they might be on call during that time, they may be on the weekend after or the weekend before. There's usually only 1 or 2 people you could swap with, and even that is really difficult. What this means practically is you can't plan in advance, and also even if it was your best friend's wedding, you couldn't necessarily go if you're on call that weekend. The only exception to this, as far as I'm aware, is for your own wedding, for which you get the day off. This does have a massive impact on trying to plan your life and your future. So for childcare, for big events, for holidays. Secondly, hospital medicine can be exciting and it can be fun, but wherever you are in medicine, there's always going to be death. The first time I saw a patient pass away, I was traumatized. And the first time I ever did CPR on a child, I still remember it very vividly, and I'm still haunted by the screams of his mother who is in the next room. I get that it's part of the job, but it can be very emotionally draining, and it's something you carry with you not just when you're at work, also outside of work as well. And soon after you've seen it again and again, you sort of become a bit numb to it. Something very abnormal becomes very normal, which I'm not sure is too healthy. Number 3 is the alpha doctor. The culture of medicine is changing from a very paternalistic approach to doctors telling patients this is what you should do, followed my advice, to a consultant having a shared decision with his team and with the patient to come up with the best treatment plan. Gone are the days of a consultant humiliating a junior doctor in front of a room of other consultants. Kind of. Still, you come across people who think being a doctor makes them a god and that everyone should know it. Fortunately, as I said, the culture is changing and there is less and less of this, but that toxic dynamic can be really damaging and can be very difficult to manage as a doctor. Number 4 is the emotion and the pressure. We talked before about death, but in hospital, everything you do is under such pressure. It's not like a normal job where if you make a mistake, it's very easy to correct it. If you make a mistake, it can have really devastating impacts on people. So you're working at really high pressure to make sure that you're not making these mistakes. Especially when you're a new doctor, this can be really difficult and it takes a while to get into the swing of things. As well as this, there is a need to dissociate yourself from patients sometimes. So when you're giving a really bad diagnosis, say someone has a terminal cancer and you're going to have to tell them about it, you have to dissociate that a little bit. You can't keep carrying that around with you for every single patient because, as I said before, it becomes emotionally draining and has a massive impact on your mental health if you're not able to let go. We need to learn to be empathetic, but also to be able to slightly distance ourselves for the sake of our own mental health. Number 5, the expectation. There's an unwritten rule in medicine which is that you stay late if you need to. It's really common and it's fine because I think people know that that's what they've signed up for, but I think it's a shame that now it's an expectation rather than a favour. The other point on this is that there's no appreciation for this. You can stay hours late finishing jobs on awards and there's never any thanks for it. It's part of your job, it's what you signed up for, so get on with it. This again is a culture that I think is slightly changing, especially with the use of exception reporting, which I think is going to make a big difference to medicine in the next 5 or 10 years. Number 6, you are everyone's doctor. Now this isn't really a bad one, but I thought it was quite funny, so I would include it. When you qualify as a doctor, you'll find that everyone comes to you for medical advice. Your family, your friends, your distant friends will start coming to you with medical questions. I have seen my friend's scrotum on WhatsApp. I've seen someone's foreskin on FaceTime. You name it, I've seen it. You get very close and intimate with your friends, which is something just to look out for when you qualify as a doctor. I'm always happy to give advice where I can and to signpost appropriately when it's above the limitations of my knowledge. Thanks for watching the video, guys. As always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos. Take care and stay safe.